Can't you see the similarities between us? Take a minute and see yourself in the mirror. You look like me, those eyes, lips, you can't deny. Have you thought about why we look the same? Why we feel the same? Don't tell me it's by chance. Oh, you're my brother, you're my sister, we're one big family. Oh, oh, you're my brother, you're my sister, just one big family.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to another episode of CAG International World Talk. We've explored Nigeria, we've explored United States of America, we've explored Pakistan, and today we will be touring another country of the world. It is still with the same mission of we finding out the causes of diversity among the human race. It is very certain that we can't regain of our past, but we can definitely work with our present to attain a good future in humanity. Today, we will be exploring a very big country, an independent country. We will be exploring, ladies and gentlemen, join me as we explore Venezuela. So with me today is a very good friend of mine, a very good one at that. Ferdinando is a very intelligent young man I've ever met. He's very unique on his own. He's very unique. He's just a unique being on his own. Just to go straight to the point, Ferdinando is a chapter president of a very great society in the Dallas College of Texas called Alpha Alpha Phi Theta Kappa. He's also a vice president for Richland College, one of the Dallas great colleges in Texas. He is the Student Government Association vice president. He's also the current president for the Dallas College Philosophy Club. He's as well the vice president of the Students Green Club in Dallas College as well. So Ferdinando, like I said, is a very great man and a unique being on its own. So he has this very good experience and exposure that we actually need to get what we want with this project of ours. The theme still remains creating a sense of unity among the human race. So ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pleasure that I humbly present to you a great friend of mine, Ferdinando. Say hi to people, Ferdinando.
Hi. Thank you so much for Hi.
One of his great fans.
I do have to apologize. I tend to laugh too much.
That's very good,
My
man.
name is
Keep it up.
Ferdinando Johnny Castro Gonzalez.
Thank
And
you.
I am an international student from Venezuela.
Oh, great. Does your
More
name have a
specifically,
specific name?
Caracas.
I know the name sounds
Yes,
Spanish,
it does.
right?
It means, but it isn't actually. My name is from Italy.
Oh,
Part of my family is from Italy, even though I was born in Venezuela. So my name has two meanings, but one is a peaceful guy or the dad who do everything to conserve peace,
oh.
and the other one is adventure protector.
We actually need your name. We need a literary meaning, the technical meaning of your name in this project of ours. Someone who
Yes.
upholds to peace, right?
Yes.
So let's go straight to business. So the topic is, like I said earlier, is when we look around the world today, you know, there's Congolese proverb I read recently that I quote saying a tree might live 100 years in the river, but that doesn't make it turn a crocodile. So that means, so that means, you know, our natural attitude, our natural behaviors, our natural characters, and our personal opinions, philosophies, and perspectives, these can be changed. These are natural factors that can be changed. They are irresistible, right? So, but
Mm.
irrespective of these factors, irrespective of these factors, you know, how can we as humans, irrespective of our background, in addition, irrespective of our color, our tribe, our religion, our language, so we want you to share your experience from Venezuela. So mostly we want you to base your presentation in terms of Venezuela. For first thing, we need to get something clear. Is Venezuela a country on its own aside from the South America?
Well, Venezuela, it is a country, yes, and I'm not completely sure how many countries there are in South America, but we are a country in South America. We are actually the one that is more north out of like all of them. So if you want to go like by a car, you have to go only through Venezuela.
Oh,
That's how it
great,
works.
great. But it is an independent country on its own, right?
It is an independent country, yes.
Great. From what I read you guys gained your independence in 1820,
No, the independence was in 1811,
1811, but officially 1820.
around that time. And the first president we had was in 1830,
Oh,
Simon Bolivar, which is he officially he saw as, let's say, the George Washington of Latin America, because Venezuela was the country who helped um, independs around 5 countries of South America. So we pretty much like we independs almost everyone, and then we kind of like spread as nations, because Venezuela wasn't called Venezuela, was called La Gran Colombia, which
oh,
right now is 3 different countries: Ecuador, Colombia, and Venezuela. So there
oh.
were fewer countries, but we liberated like 5.
So before going deep
I
down
am
to
proud.
the topic of today, Ferdinando, which is the causes of diversity among the human race and the possible practicable solutions. But before we go deep down into the topic, we need you to um, take us around the whole of Venezuela a little bit. You know, how is humanity like there? How do the people of Venezuela see humanity in general? So are there we've learned from previous presentations that there is no way that sector of people will have diversities within people of same country.
Mhm.
That's what I mean. So, but how is humanity like? You know, are people able to cooperate? You know, are people submissive to other people of different places, just like you are? How is it like the humanity in
Well,
general?
Well, in my country, it is a very interesting one in that area, because the thing is that we do not have a clear, let's say, demographic. We cannot recognize each other by how we look,
Mm.
because we part of our history have like areas where we combine each other so much that we are now like, there's nothing like an unseen that I went through like anywhere in the world. Like I've seen like a very dark like Islam, like Muslim. I've seen like red hair people. I've seen everything. So our concept of even racism is completely different from everything I've ever seen here in the United States. It's kind of like I cannot completely comprehend, because we don't really have racism as such. Because for us, it's kind of like if somebody is like Asian picture, we see him as someone as
As
us
yourself.
as well. And
Mm.
our culture is also, yes, because we grew up looking at that every day, so there's no difference for us. I mean, there is some passive racism that from people who came from Europe, but you don't see that in the younger generation. So like the younger generation, they see it's like it's alright, it's kind of like whatever. And to the point that we even call ourselves by the color of our skin or like our features, and it's not offensive. It's actually a way to greet them like in a cute manner. So whenever I came over here, it was quite a shock that I cannot say like, "Hey, what's up, black?" Because it's kind of like, oh, it could be
Mm,
offensive. Like, okay, I
right,
should be
right.
aware of that.
So skin shouldn't be a barrier in terms of relating with one another. The color of
No,
our skin.
and my country, like I said, is a proof that it doesn't matter. And the thing is that also, as I was saying, our culture is very, uh, I, I guess, extroverted. And the way I behave is a lot likely of everyone in my country. So that like I don't even know you, and I would treat you as a friend, and I would treat you like, hey, do you want to meet?
Right.
That's very common in I am, I mean, I'm a little bit more like moved, but it is very normal. Like I have made friends just by being in the bus. Like I'm in the bus and like, hey, what's up? Like, oh, nice thing. Like, and we start like talking a little bit. Then we share like communication and we're friends. And sometimes like we are kind of like having some food and things outside. Like, hey, do you want to try? Like people from like different different like tables, and then we kind of like combine the tables and we just eat together. So
Mm.
sometimes we're just playing like board games and things like on the street, and we invite people to join in, and we have like a lot of like sport and things that are going on outside, and we engage a lot with people that we don't know, and then we're all friends. So that's like we have big communities, like we have a lot of like communities and they always have like soccer fields and things like that. And you literally all you have to do is go down with a soccer ball, and people start coming. Even if you don't know them, you will know them almost everyone in the community like in a day. And they'll play together, and we combine teams, and then everyone knows each other. And we have a lot of our festivities is based on community base. Like for example, our we have something called Carnaval, and we all literally like fill things with water and throw them at strangers and play water with strangers.
Oh,
So
great.
we greet people like disregarding of their feature
I
or like
mean, you
socioeconomic
are a very good
status.
representative of Venezuela, man. So, from we can see lots of friends around you right now. So that's part of the perspective we are
Yes,
trying to uphold from you.
yes, there
Yeah.
is, yeah.
All right. So,
Um,
can you share some of your cultures with us, please?
like in the
Do you
screen.
have do you have like specific cultures that you guys engage yourself in? We know.
I mean, we do, of course, we do. But okay, for example, like something that we have a specific dish that we do in Christmas. That we literally bring all the family together and we spend the whole day cooking it. Even the babies, if you have a baby, just you make them clean like the leaves, and we cook for all. Like it is supposed to last for the whole like holiday, but in more representative, we really do it like or it should be done if you wanted to do properly on December 21st because it's called like the spirit of Christmas, I think is the translation. But like everyone go to like the grandfather or the grandmother house, like all cousins, all like uncles, all like everyone, and we all cook together. So everyone like some people focus on the leaves, some other focus on like masa, on the protein, on the vegetable, and it's like a long process. It is not hard to do, but it takes a lot of time. And sometimes we just stay over there in the night. We all share, we dance, we we drink some things, and then like at the end of the day, we all like share the food, and then we also give some of our ayacas, which is called ayacas, the food. It is like you ask any Venezuelan about ayacas, and you will know it's Christmas time because we don't even eat it after. Like it is just in Christmas. So you may see a little bit like mid-November, definitely December.
All right.
Besides that, we also have like a group of dances, which is like joropo and things like that. But not everyone dances it. It's just those who are like in the plains. I don't know how to explain it. You know that there are, I guess it is a good representation that we're in Texas. Texas has like the cities, and then we have the places who are a little bit more rural. Like people who dance joropo usually are like in the rural area, but everybody really have, well, I would say everyone Most people have a good perception of the joropo. It's not easy to dance, but it's very funny. But normally we don't dance that like in parties. In parties we dance like salsa, merengue, tambores, cumbia, bachata,
So all these
reggaeton.
events, they kind of bring people together, right?
Every time, everything in Venezuela is to bring people together.
Right. Is there a specific language that you guys speak?
The
Like
Spanish,
Spanish, yeah. Is that the official language as well?
Spanish is the official language, yes.
Oh,
But like I said, we have a high influence from Europe because during the first, I'm not completely sure it's the First World War, but for sure the Second World War, those from Europe, they needed a country where to live, came to Venezuela. So Venezuela was the country was hosting them like, hey, come to us and we're gonna greet you here. So we have a huge community of Europeans there. So like I said, like I studied there Russian, Italian, and French, and I was able to speak like frequently enough because there is enough people that you can speak those languages
oh,
there.
that. So now let's go deep down to the topics. So in general, Ferdinando, in general, what do you think are the causes of diversity among each and every human race?
Something that it does happen a lot, at least on my observations, is that people, whenever they are not educated on different matters outside of your own culture, whenever they see it, they are a little bit more close-minded because they believe that it could be different from, it could affect their own like way of living without understanding that you may need it to like kind of like evolve. Um, I don't think I've seen people that get educated in these matters and still believe that you should be close-minded toward other cultures. Um, because I like I yes, like those who had like the resources like early in the days, like hundreds of years ago, they always said that the best thing a person could do was to travel the world and get to know things that you won't be able to know, like requirement. It was kind of like if you want to learn, like if they really took the leadership role like seriously, it was a requirement. Like you are gonna need to move to get your education in another place with other culture, other languages, because you need to know that there are other perspectives different than yours.
Hmm.
And so for me, a great part of it is education. It plays a big role in that area, and
Okay.
also to be exposed. Like I was blessed that my country has that big pool of diversity, but some other countries are very not too much allowed to have different cultures within yours. If they don't get exposed to those kind of like perspective early on, whenever they face something different, for them is something so new, and you already have grown to like the certain point that you're less likely to accept the change, which is also something that is very normal for human beings to sometimes have. If like is to like you don't want things to change out of the sudden. So then you see somebody who can change the way you live. It's kind of like I like it the way it is. You're gonna change it, and they not necessarily have to think that it's gonna be for positive. So it is, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that people get educated and racism, things like that. No, saying like it's the lack of education that is one of the causes. I'm not saying it is all. There are other
Right,
ways,
right, right.
but it is one. Yeah, because sometimes people just have like maybe they were very open, but the first experience with somebody who was different culture was so bad that it's kind of like these people are like that, you know. Which is also something that is happening lately to Venezuelans. That there is a xenophobia towards them because since the political aspect of my country is not doing that well right now, many people there are going to other countries. So some people are looking down to Venezuelans, and they're like doing like xenophobic stuff. So it's because they feel like they're gonna change the way they live, and they don't want it to change it because for them it was good, but they don't understand that it could be something positive as well.
Is that still going on currently?
Yes, it is.
So how do you think the people of Venezuela can solve that?
They see it badly. I mean, like for example, like this is the deal. Venezuela is a country with a lot of people who get educated like seriously. We take education like very seriously. So whenever we go to a different country to look to work, most of the resumes that we have are bigger than those in the country. So people start saying like, oh, you know what, you're stealing our jobs. It's kind of like, well, it's not really like we're stealing. It's just that we're better prepared, you know. So they're kind of like, so they start like putting some regulations on Venezuelans, and then some people start like, oh, you're from Venezuela, so we charge you more for rent than the rest of the building because like we need extra for like because some of you are like thieves. And it's like, well, but some of us can be thieves, but not all of us are thieves, you
Right.
know, like same as like people from your country could, some of them are thieves, but we don't judge you just everyone because one people steal.
Mm,
So it was a mess. And there has been so much complications and so many people making it really hard for Venezuelans to leave just because they're from Venezuela. And they say like, well, why don't you go back to your country? Like your country, like if you feel like so passionate about your country, go back to your country. It's like, well, it is out of our hand because the government that is right now is like, it's not really doing enough to provide for all the people. So for us to be able to even sustain those who are still in Venezuela, we really have to go out. So there is no way that you can leave, you just stay there. It's that bad. So it is a very complicated topic, but
right.
yes, it is currently happening.
So without any sense of being sentimental, so without any sense of being sentimental now. So, um, do you think a country on its own and its citizens, do you think a country on its own and its citizens and the citizen of that country alone can work towards making the country sufficient enough for themselves to to live and to sustain? Do you think a country on its own without the ability to welcome and you know um, accept wholeheartedly accept immigrants in, do you think a country on its own and its citizens alone can be able to sustain? Like I said, without any
No,
sense of being sentimental.
no, I don't think. It is, I think it's literally impossible. Like you depend on other countries to sustain yourself. Because I don't think there is any country that is able to sustain by itself without help of other countries, just to begin with. And there are even some countries, such as Portugal, who even need people to go there so they don't get extinct because their young population is so low that they eventually will not have enough people to even work. And that is happening. So and it doesn't only happen in Portugal, and you do need that because, for example, sometimes other countries, due to like their weather, they have some type of technology very specific that could benefit you to do something more efficiently with tools that you wouldn't really work on before because you didn't like that in the first place. You know, so it's kind of like you do need as much, like the more you accept others, the better, I would say, because even in this country, like it is something that has been discussed. Like I keep seeing that like take immigrants out and send messages around those areas. And I say like if that really happens, like you know the amount of immigrants here that like do the dirty work, like it is crazy. Like the economy will drop very high. So I even think that that's one of the reasons why mm, something still hasn't happened yet because they have to know that. So yeah, I don't think it's possible.
So I've learned that from the previous presentations that each and every country needs the support of other countries. Like in my country, Nigeria, we have lots of Chinese people, you know, we have lots of Russians people, we have a lot of Indians people, we have a lot of Egyptians. Let's just conclude to tender to the world that we all need the support of one another, irrespective of wherever we come from. So another question, sir, is in terms of in terms of the color of our skin. I
Mhm.
appreciate the first introduction you made. I do really very appreciate that. So, in terms of the color of our skin, uh, like I was saying, that I watched a movie about, the color of our skin. So, I made some few
Mhm.
interviews with a couple of friends around me. That what do they think are the causes of people, people using sort of creams, to change the color of their skin. So, few of the answers that I got was some were feeling discriminated, some were feeling reluctant, some were feeling being neglected, and some were feeling, let me say, some were having a low sense of self-esteem. That these are the people that the world appreciates and welcome. So they are feeling being discriminated and neglected. So what's your advice to such people?
My advice is that they have to understand that it has nothing to do about you, and it's all about them. Um, because for me, this is something that it does help me uh, don't take things too seriously. Sometimes people are like mean toward me or things like that. They kind of like go at me, and I just what I keep saying to me is like, well, this person is going through something, and I'm just happen to be the object that is releasing whatever frustration or whatever experience that he has in the past. But I am not the one who's fucking. Like, I'm not the one causing it. Is that person. So that person normally will act or will like judge you based on past experiences. So it is not about you really. Like if you understand that it's not about you, it's kind of like okay, that person is going through something, but I know that whatever is it like I know myself. So just uh, I it is sad that some people because I've seen it go through like low self-esteem episodes where like oh no like I'm not looked as somebody who can be appealing or like I don't know like I'm looked like I cannot even take a taxi to go to a place because people think that I'm gonna like rob them or things like understand that even though it is hard, it is not you. It doesn't have to do like it doesn't define you. Um, it's just something that is very toxic of our society, and hopefully we are able to change it with time, which we have improved. It's just that we're not there yet. We still have to
We're
go
getting
like
there.
far. Yeah, so projects like this do help because it bring awareness to these kind of like issues, and sometimes some people may take them seriously enough to kind of like teach themselves on how not to incur in these actions that may be very troubling for some people. Um, so yes.
Let me chip this in. This is a question I do ask in all of the presentations that you just made mention of, you know, people have been I don't want to say brainwashed. They are this sort of mentalities, that has been instilled in most people. Um, I do summarize it and call it generational inheritance. What parents pass on to their children, what friends pass to them, to their peer groups. You know, so all these sort of mentalities. How do you think we can eradicate them?
Education and also like exposure again like even if you're not that educated and like you don't have the accessibility if you're able to see it and engage and like be able to interact with them and see the human side of them like and how some cultures that they have actually help you process some things that you can't have in your own culture if you're able to see that you're gonna be more willing to like let other people come to you and say like, hey, okay, sure, like tell me your ways and I will tell you mine.
Mhm.
And it will create a society more like willing to accept the differences because it will understand that the only way to have different results is to accept other type of resolutions. So sometimes like some people like I don't know like can feel so stressed and none of the ways my culture has helped me feel better. And then you have like a Chinese meditation that it does nail it like ah like oh Jesus these guys are like amazing how did they create this and boom this is kind of like okay now you understand that there are some things that are positive from the other culture. Look at try, like try it. Try to see. Um, even if you start on, understanding how the people speak, like if you allow yourself to not only speak in one language, but to really like go to like their literature in their own language, you're able even to understand a little bit of how they think and why they do some things. It is, I like, for example, I like a lot Russian because of it, because every time that you hear about Russian, you have this idea like we're tough and like we
Right,
drink and
right,
we fight with bears. Like it's like, yeah, no, actually no. The language is so soft and romantic. Like, and people think that this like German is like it
right,
isn't.
right,
It's very
right,
soft and like fluid. It's kind of like very, very romantic, and the people there are so like um, there is racism there. I'm not gonna say that there isn't, but they're so heartwarming. Like they're so sweet. Like
right,
the people that have been able to interact in Russian, like from my country and even in this country, um, they accept me like very, very nice. Like they will like feed you. Like they're like you're gonna come to my house because I have to feed you. It's like
right,
okay, and they will make sure that you feel like as good as you can. So they have very treats that I don't think people realize it. And instead of looking Russians as so tough and stuff, you have to understand that they're really just very kind people. They just don't smile too much because it's part of their culture that if you smile too much, you are dumb. Yes, it is true. That's part of their culture. Like those who are seen too laughable, they think that they don't take life too seriously. So they will
mm,
only laugh if they're really, really happy or if they're very comfortable in the surrounding. But outside that, it is their norm to just be serious.
great. Um, thank you so much, Ferdinando. Thank you for that great talk towards Venezuela. It's a great pleasure to have you. Before we go, can you please advise, people that speak Spanish and most people of Venezuela, and hopefully the current xenophobic scenarios that is going on, they can take to your advice and hopefully it comes to an end. So please talk to people in the language that they will understand from you.
Of course. Ok. Hello. Hola. Esto, bueno, esto es un mensaje para ustedes si están leyendo esto o escuchando esto, mejor dicho. Am, Recuerden que no estamos solos. Sé que estamos un poco separados, pero eh, por suerte tenemos tecnología. De verdad que es muy triste el momento que estamos y todo, pero también nosotros tenemos que entender que hemos sido un país que ha sobrellevado situaciones muy duras antes y yo estoy seguro que vamos a ser capaces de superar esta experiencia también juntos, una vez que entendamos lo que tenemos que aprender de toda esta experiencia. Entonces, bueno, mucha suerte muchachos, éxito y cualquier cosa, saben que no estamos solos. Cuídense.
What does that mean?
Yeah. I'm telling them that I understand that the situation in my country is not good, that we are very spread from our own families and friends, but we have to understand that we're not alone, that we have people everywhere that can support us, that we also have to remember our history, that we have gone through a lot of hard things, and we're going to be able to also go through this as long as we understand that we have to stay together and learn from whatever it was that our mistake was. That's the summary of what I was saying.
That's a great advice. Thank you, man. Gracias. Gracias. All right, brother. Thank
Then,
you. Thank you so much for your time.
It doesn't matter